The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody. It's Mike Bjorkman. How are we? All right, so check it out. Deanna is on the other line trying to log in and having some kind of audio problem. So we're going to chitty chat by myself for a minute here. And look at everybody pouring on. So we'll get started in just a few minutes. She's switching computers. If you guys can do me a favor, go into the questions box or the chat box and tell me if you can hear me okay. I want to make sure we don't have any crazy technical difficulties all over the place. Okay, thank you, Howard. So you can hear me fine. So I've logged into Pinterest. Can you hear? Can you guys see my screen? Wow, that's crazy. All right, I'm gonna close all this junkola out. I don't think you guys need to see all that. I thought I'd take a peek at my Pinterest since we're waiting for Deanna. No screen still, huh? You guys should see my Pinterest app if it's working okay. We'll give it just a few more minutes here. So you guys could hear her on my cell phone, but not on the webinar. That's not going to work for us. All right, let's see. No screen. It says show. All right, you guys, can you see the screen now? Oh, you're on, huh, Deanna?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my Pinterest up, and then we'll be ready to roll.
Okay, cool. Thank God I didn't have to try to do a Pinterest class on my own. I could pull off other one except for this one. The real estate
Right.
guys were testing me this morning. Thank you all for being patient. We're almost ready to go. I'm going to give you controls, Deanna, and you may take over.
All right. Cool. Holy cow. Love technical difficulties.
No, that's cool. That means we're human. That means we're alive and doing things and adapting and overcoming. No problem. Let's see. Where's your darn screen? Yay! All right, let's get rolling. So let's make sure I'm recording. I'm recording. She's going to hit play, go backwards. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. All right, Pinterest. I'm going to chitty chat about Pinterest just for a second. I can't stand it. It's so confusing for me. I compare it to LinkedIn for me, but again, it's something that gives us listing leads, and I can't ignore it. So the way we work our Pinterest is our team pretty much handles Pinterest for us, and what we do is everybody is allowed to share on our pin. So once in a great while, I'll see something cool and I'll share it. But what I do know is I have a lot of followers, and every time I do something, everybody repins it, everybody talks about it, sends me messages. So it's obviously a pretty darn a big deal there. So as Deanna messes with her laptop screen,
I'm just trying to, this is the one that I just had cleaned, so my presentation doesn't look right. So I apologize. I'm trying to get my iMac restarted so that we can do it on the other one. But we'll start with this just in terms of like getting things
all right.
started.
So let's go. So I am Mike Bjorkman. If you don't already know that, I see plenty of people online that I've never met in person. I am the owner broker of HomeSmart NCG in Santa Clarita, California. We also have a Northridge office. And if you don't know where that's at, that's by Six Flags Magic Mountain, about 30 minutes north of Los Angeles. My helper, presenter extraordinaire, Deanna Miller, co-founder and marketing director of Stark Social Media. Deanna and I have a relationship because she handles anything that has to do with the computer for me, websites, landing pages, but most importantly for this series, our social media. And the reason why is we have several different companies and we cannot possibly handle all the social media posting and replying and reputation management, all that stuff. So Stark Social does all that for us. And also, Deanna likes to help present and train agents the same way I do, so it's a good fit. So thank you for joining us. I do these for free for agents, not only to train my agents, but to get people to understand HomeSmart. HomeSmart is the fastest growing company in the nation. It is the third largest company in the nation. We do amazing things for our agents, not only training, but you get to keep 100% of your commission. Couldn't possibly beat that. We have transaction fees of only $499, $49 a month. And that helps us with our MLS technology fees. And what that means to you is the tools are all connected with the MLS. So as soon as you take a listing, you automatically get an awesome website with tons of cool IDX features for yourself, but also your listings get their own individual listing websites. You automatically get a virtual tour. It's automatically uploaded to YouTube. Tons of marketing. In my opinion, the very best listing presentation and cloud CMA program on the market. And HomeSmart's proprietary software. We're a totally paperless company. Man, the software does so much. Someday I want to just get all you guys together and show you everything that the company has to offer, but I don't want to take too much time on the commercial. So that's HomeSmart. You can get a hold of me anytime, and I would love to give you some more information. Two of the most active Facebook groups that we're working with right now is this one, Stark and HomeSmart 10-week social media series. You have to be part of it to participate properly. So go on your Facebook or write this down, Stark and HomeSmart 10-week social media series. And then, of course, the HomeSmart Next Level Training down below. It's cut off a little bit, but it says HomeSmart Next Level Training Series, and you got to find that one too. We all post good tips and tricks in there, but more importantly, when we start our live streaming and our new webinars for very specific real estate training, you'll get notified in that group. Also, I'm going to start putting some more information there about our podcast, which I just wrote down about 10 of the next podcasts we're going to do. We've taken a couple months off, and due to popular demand, we're back. So let's talk about those, Deanna. You're doing too many things at once, I know. So the Real Estate Marketing Show is our podcast for real estate training. I talk raw, real, pour my heart out to all the agents out there. And the reason I do this is I want to train you guys and talk to you about things that really work in real estate. I take my 25 years of experience and 4,000 real estate transactions, including short sales, leases, loan modifications, all that experience together, and lay it out on the line so you guys don't have to go through the pain and misery I did. So also, Deanna has the Social Life podcast where she's sharing her tips and tricks for social media, getting pretty technical for the tech world out there. You guys, as real estate agents, need to embrace, not avoid technology and social media. So if I and a lot of other my friends could make $500,000 a year or more in social media, you might want to take it seriously. So I invite you to search the Social Life podcast and join Deanna and Nathan on their travels through that particular world, let's call it. So, Deanna, how are we doing over here? Are we ready to rock this?
We are ready to rock this. I'm going to see if I can get this started over here so we can have the better screen in terms of...
So when you join this, you're going to have to leave, come back, and I'll have to give you controls again.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty scary. So I'm going to have to take the controls back while you do that.
Okay, go ahead.
That's awesome. All right. So tell me when you're back on. All right. So I'm going to give it back to you. Did you log out of that other one? Because I see you twice.
Let me just...
Yeah, you're going to have to completely shut the other one down so you don't have that terrible feedback. You still there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, let's try to give you, since it still shows me 2, I'm going to...
I should be out, I think. Dun, dun, dun.
All right, cool. Thank you guys for putting up with that. Now we'll have the pretty Stark Social presentation that we've grown to love and know so well. All right, so Deanna, I got a question for you. I'm sure you're going to say it, but I'm always absolutely blown away to hear where Pinterest is at in the social media world. I remember last time we did this, Pinterest was the #2 most traveled social media site in the world. Do we have any updates on that? Did Instagram pass it?
Yeah, so actually, it's still Instagram. It has surpassed Pinterest in terms of growth. But the amazing thing to me is that Pinterest still continues to have more shares in terms of volume of sharing than any of the social media networks combined. And I think that's because you have such a large volume of people who are using it on a regular basis to just kick back and have a good time and find solutions to problems and ideas and concepts that they might not have been able to find. Next to YouTube, it's actually this first quarter, according to their numbers, it was the #3 search engine in terms of where people are going to look for information. So I know I personally use it when I'm looking for solutions for, easy fixes around the house, if I'm trying to get inspiration for, we're redoing the patio, if I'm looking for recipes that are easy. You've got Mother's Day coming up, so people are crazy on Mother's Day boards right now. So it's definitely growing and growing and growing in ways that the other social media channels can't compete with.
Right. Who actually, sorry, I'm reading a text message too. When it comes to Pinterest, how am I going to say that? Well, do we know who actually counts and keeps track of the numbers and how many pins are actually shared and that kind of thing? Does Pinterest still have its own technology, or does Facebook do that? How does that work?
Well, actually, Pinterest has a really solid analytics back end now. So even though it started as sort of this like social information network, it was started by a group of bloggers who were looking for a way to share their blog posts and increase traffic to their websites. They have built it into something that is just absolutely amazing.
Okay.
So
You know, I can't go
yeah,
anywhere without seeing hear somebody talk about Pinterest. It's so funny. We were at the chili cook-off last week, and I know you were there. I saw you there. And I was talking to the vendors. I'm like, oh, these are good ideas. And almost every single thing came from Pinterest. Every single wedding idea, every single party I go to, they're like, oh, yeah, I saw this on Pinterest. The funky desserts. I mean, the Pinterest has got to be like so cool. I use it sometimes to search fashion for men, but not as much as I probably should. But when it comes to parties, boy, you girls know how to throw one now with Pinterest.
well, it's so cool because I think that like a lot of times you'll go on certain websites and it's like you've got Martha Stewart Living or Martha Stewart Weddings. This is a place where according to Pinterest numbers, more money is spent every day on Pinterest versus any other social media channel out there. So they actually are at a point where they're generating 4 times more revenue per click than Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, because you've got all of these amazing resources that have basically like it's just this great place for everybody to come together and share all of their stuff, but then also you attach the call to action or you attach a get this for free. And people are much more likely to buy from Pinterest because 80% of what they're actually seeing out there is repins of pins. So it's really, really interesting to me that, you've got this place where no one would think of it as a sales tool. I mean, initially when it got started, it wasn't like, oh, okay, we're going to make sure that this is someplace to generate revenue. It was, bloggers trying to share their tips and information and stuff that they were putting on their blogs, whether it was a lifestyle blogger, a fashion blogger, a mommy blogger. We're all on there selling our stuff, just trying to get increased traffic to our posts so that we can get those really cool gigs and stuff like that. So,
all right, awesome. So let's talk a little bit about how it's going to affect us as real estate agents, because I am so excited. I'm looking at the app, and I don't do that very often as well. And you guys know I'm honest, but man, has this thing changed. I can't believe how easy it is. This is really cool.
Yeah, it's really, really neat to me because 80% of the users are actually women, and it's funny because in the Pinterest stuff that they send out to brand builders, which is what they call the marketing people who become partners with them, you know, they always call women the decision makers. And if you think about it, I mean, for most families and in most relationships, no matter who the breadwinner is, that might be true. But daily there's 1.5 million pins that are places and locations that are being shared to Pinterest across the nation. And since Pinterest has gone global, that's probably even more in terms of their execution and presence of what they offer. So then I had somebody who asked, you know, I know we're going to talk about Pinterest this week, so what do I post? You can use the map feature to add your current listings. That's really important to think about. And I'll talk about how you do that a little bit later on one of the other slides. You want to highlight attractions and events that are in your area, so that's important. We were at the Chili Cook-Off this last week, and it was a really important fundraiser for nonprofit organizations, and there were tons of people there. Turns out there were, you know, tons of business owners and real estate agents and all kinds of different people. And if you're highlighting those events, you could be drawing attraction to the fact that you're there, which is awesome. You want to maybe post self-guided tours. I've seen a lot of people that are participating in these webinars really taking advantage of that Periscope to YouTube functionality where you can take that video and you can put it on YouTube, and then taking those really organic, fantastic off-the-cuff videos, and you can take those and you can post them obviously to Facebook and Twitter, but you can post them to Pinterest. You can create a board that is specifically, you know, property preview videos, and then you put those in there. People want to see what you're doing. Social media is always and forever will be a peek behind the curtain. You want to map local businesses in the area. Maybe we've got in our area, we have tons and tons of new restaurants and breweries and pubs and all kinds of cool family stuff that's opening. We actually have on the SCV Leasing, Mike's property management company, we have a board that is strictly for SCV local businesses. So we promote Santa Clarita local businesses. So if they have a Pinterest, we will pin their stuff to draw attention to the fact that we know that they're there. You can post tips and tricks for staging and curb appeal. Anything that you think would be helpful to potential clients or anybody who would be entering into your sales funnel. You got to think like the client and think what would they be looking for on Pinterest. And then, of course, obviously, links to your landing pages for exposure. If you have a landing page that's offering, you know, 27 tips to better staging, the top 10 reasons why you need a real estate agent, those kinds of things, you can post those, and we'll talk about the best ways to do that in terms of images and how to create them in the next few slides. I promise we'll get there eventually. Tip number 1. Okay, so I went through, and you guys have been so amazing about sending me emails and Facebook messages asking me the things that you want covered. So I appreciate everybody. Thank you. You know who you are. So what's what? These are pins. So this is what a pin would look like once it's actually in your feed. So this is what it looks like. These are considered pins. These are your boards. So these are different. And that was the question that I was asked, was what's the difference? So this is the SCV Leasing, Mike's Property Management. This is their profile. And these are the boards. And you can see we have a big variety of boards, but the concentration on the first row is everything that has to do with SCV Leasing. And then all of those, the pins are contained in there. And then this is what it looks like when you're pinning something from Pinterest that's already there into one of your boards. And you can pick any of the boards. And one of the things I like to do is you can connect your Twitter, you can connect your Facebook, you can connect your Google+, and you can decide which ones you want to post to. So I have here selected post to Twitter. And what I'll do sporadically, and this is kind of just a side tip, is I will post like 3 or 4 things to Twitter and then uncheck that so that I'm not inundating people with a lot of stuff from Pinterest on my Twitter feed. But I'll do that just to draw attention to the fact that that brand or that person or that business is actually on Pinterest. And it's a really good way to draw attention to the fact that you have a Pinterest without saying, hey, I have a Pinterest, follow me. But you can also do that too. You want to optimize your profile. So a couple of the things that I was asked was, you know, I have my profile. Should I make it a business profile? Should I keep it a real estate profile? What should I do? If you're an individual real estate agent or realtor, you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the brand that you're building, and that is you and your handsome or beautiful face. But when you're filling out your profile, you want to make sure that you're optimizing it with keywords in your profile. So for example, here I have SCV Leasing as the premier property management firm in the city of Santa Clarita. So I call out the city that we're in, Santa Clarita, and we visit our website to search homes and find property management tips. So I have property management in there twice, and I have the city or location in there at least once. Now, what you want to make sure is that you're including in your profile your business website URL. So if you're a real estate agent, you want to make sure that if you have a website or a link to wherever your listings or your landing page, wherever people can find your business persona, because that's where you want to build the sales funnel, you want to make sure you're including that in your profile. So if you have a website, you have a blog, you have a landing page, you can stick that in there. We have scvleasing.com, and that goes directly to the homepage on the website. For this specific brand, we're using a portion of the logo. So if you're a person or real estate agent, I have my personal profile is also my business profile. So I have things on there that are personal, so stuff that's like mom related or, you know, home related. But I have a picture of me in there, and then it says Stark Social, because I want to represent the business, but I also want people who already know me to be like, oh, that's Deanna, I get it, that's who she is. Oh, awesome, I love all these tips that she's sharing about social media. Always add your location. So you see here we've got Santa Clarita. It's really, really easy to fill out the profile and the back end of your Pinterest. It's literally just a couple boxes and you hit save. Currently for the description, it's 160 characters is the current limit. So what you want to do is just like with you know, certain tweets or things like that, what I'll do sometimes is I'll go into Word and then just check my word count, and then I'm good to go. It also helps to spell check or grammar check these things, because I have found a few profiles where they've been done so quickly or they've been done on the app and you maybe misspell a word. So make sure that you're being careful, because if you're looking to represent a brand, you want to make sure that there are no typos, or very few typos anyway. You want to build searchable boards. So this is a screen grab of Mike's boards from his personal profile. And you want to build searchable boards that are obvious to the client and what they're looking for. So I have some suggestions here based on what is most successful on Pinterest. So we've got luxury homes, so you can create a luxury homes board. Weird houses, I found so many boards that were dedicated to weird homes. Take a look at those. Celebrity mansions, people love that stuff. People love seeing what it looks like inside a celebrity's home. I searched celebrity houses, celebrity mansions, and there were hundreds of boards dedicated to that. Pools and spas, if you're looking to target a specific niche market, let's say you're looking to hit luxury real estate, you want to make a board obviously that's dedicated to that, but you can also say like luxury pools and spas. Master bedrooms, kitchen and dining, or unique architecture are all really good ideas for creating boards that are specific to different niches. You don't want to do, you don't want it to be too long of a title. You don't want it to be too difficult to search for. So you definitely want to make sure that you're optimizing for your niche, for your location. Maybe you've got Los Angeles homes, Los Angeles mansions, you know, Seattle, famous Seattle master bedrooms. If you've got different sort of niche things that people might be searching for, you can definitely take advantage of those when you're creating your boards. Somebody asked me about place pins. So what a place pin is, there is, and this is, you know, this has actually been restricted to sites like WordPress or Squarespace, or if you have, for example, like a Wix site, something that where you can update the header specifically. There's a little bit of code, and if you search on the developers section of Pinterest, and it's actually pretty easy to get to, they have really great instructions on how to do that. If you have somebody that can help you do that, then I would definitely recommend it. But what this is great for is I have this pin here, and this is a pin that goes directly to the available properties at on the SCV Leasing website. And I want to make sure that I've tagged it with an appropriate location. And that's something that we can do because we've been approved for place pins, or they're called, you might hear them called rich pins or location pins. So those types of, this type of thing is really great if you're a real estate agent and you have a website. If you have a landing page, you can talk to the person together for you, or take a look and see if your software allows that integration, or the tool that you're using. But you can definitely always also get in touch with the people at Pinterest, because they have absolutely amazing customer service. It's not like Facebook where you send an email and you might get a response or you might not get a response. They're actually really great. They reply usually within a day or two. So using location tagging is amazing, especially if you have specific listings that you're trying to get found. You want people to be able to see them, and this also helps with Google. So if you're tagging these things, this is also another thing that Google will take a look at. Anything that is geotagged is something that Google will take a look at, especially if you have the little snippet of code on your website. One of the things I love to do is building group boards. Now, if you have a team that you're working with, if you have a team within your brokerage, or you have a bunch of real estate agents who you love, you can build boards and add a number of people. And we do this with the SCV Leasing team and the Team Bjorkman team and the HomeSmart team and all the different teams. They all have access to certain collaborators. You can add collaborations. So they have access as collaborators, and they have to have a Pinterest account. So that's one of the things. You have to make sure that whoever you're adding is on Pinterest, or you can invite them to Pinterest. But what this does is this increases your range and searchability on Pinterest. So anytime that somebody adds a pin to this board, it's shared on all the collaborators' feeds. So if you have 10 people that have 300 followers on Pinterest, that's a lot of people that are going to see your listing or your video or whatever you're putting together. Especially if you're doing, let's say, something with open houses. You definitely want to take advantage of having collaborators on your team. That's just that many more people that are going to see your pin about your open house or your property preview or whatever it is that you're putting together. And you can work with your team to come up with names for specific boards. For us, we have, for SCV Leasing, we have specific boards like, you know, the backyard, or if there's any specific holiday, so like Christmas, Mother's Day, Easter. Add those members of your team. And if you don't have a team, if you're just going solo, maybe you add friends and family to it, and they can help you build your presence in terms of getting those pins out there. So you definitely want to take advantage of building these group boards, because it's a way to increase your presence. And the way I like to explain it is, think about when you get to tag someone on a Facebook picture or a post. Everyone that you tag in that Facebook picture or post ends up going in their feed, and their friends are going to see it. So it's that same kind of thought process. So it's basically like tagging a bunch of people in a pin. So you want to also think about, and I love doing this, creating private boards. Now, a lot of people have asked me about this. What are secret boards used for? What I recommend, and I sort of have an example here in this screen grab, and this is just a sample. So let's say you have a client who's looking for a home. You've got a home buyer and they have all these requirements and they have all this stuff. What I've started to recommend realtors do is put together a private board and invite the clients to the board. So obviously at least one of them is going to have a board, probably the wife or the girlfriend or fiance, or if she's looking for a house. And then you give it a specific title that is just for them. Home search dash Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I hear Mike say Mr. and Mrs. Smith probably like 20 times a day when he's talking about scripts and dialogues. And then you give it a description, and the description is what they're looking for. They're searching for a 3-bedroom home in wherever with a pool or potential for a pool, community amenities, blah, blah, blah. Then you make it secret, and what you can encourage them to do is pin listings that they like to it, or ideas for listings, or things that they're specifically looking for. And that builds the relationship and makes them a part of the process. What I'll do is I'll use this for example, for social media. If I have specific clients that I'm managing their Pinterest for, and a lot of times what happens is clients have a really good idea of what they want to see posted. So it'll help me learn about what kinds of things they want shared on their Facebook or their Twitter. So I'll say, you've got your Pinterest, let's create a secret board and share ideas. So they can share content with me that they think is important to their brand. And then we can use that as an inspiration to find other things that we like. That we would like to post in their feed, and that makes it super easy to get to know the client and also to get to know what they're looking for in terms of social media posting and productivity. You can also do this with your team. So if you have a team of agents that you're working with and you guys are looking to build your brand, you're looking to get to know each other, you're looking to understand each other, you can start to build secret boards just specifically for your team and say, here's a cool idea I saw for team building, I'd like to utilize this, or we should try doing this at our next open house, this looks like it was really successful. Or, hey, you know what, guys, I was thinking we should add a blog post. What do you think of this in terms of ideas for our next post? So you can do a world of things with these secret boards, and nobody can see them except for the people that you've added as a collaborator. There's tons and tons of ideas. You can, I know that like wedding planners use them. I have a wedding planner friend who does this. She has boards for every single client, and every bride that she works with just shares a ton of pins to whatever they've got. Party planners, if you're a business, any kind of business, you can come up with ideas for helping your team better understand the brand. Like, this is what we're doing. These are the kinds of things I want you to see. Here's our best practices. Things of that nature. That's super, super easy to put together these private boards. And if you don't like it and it's not working, you can always delete it or change it or start over. Love private boards. One of the tips that I've seen that I love and I've copied over and over again, especially if you have multiple listings and they're coming in and out, and you've got, like with SCV leasing, they rent property pretty much as soon as it's on the website, it's gone. So if you have a revolving door of listings, or you have a revolving door of ideas or information that you want, you can create custom covers, so you don't have to worry about an old listing being your cover. We ran across this when people were looking for listings, and we had the cover of one of the boards, the SCV leasing listings, was an old property that was no longer available. So somebody was saying, well, I found it on the internet. Well, they searched and they found it, and the pin came up in Google, and so they were like, but it's here. You really want to make sure that if you have a board where you have content that's constantly changing, you've got listings coming in and out, you want to make sure that you're creating a custom cover image. And this is a snippet from Pinterest's back end. So the cover image is this big, 217 by 147 pixels. And you can create this in Canva. You can create a custom dimension for your little cover, and then you can just pop some text over it, or you can just put your logo or whatever you want. But I recommend doing this if you have a board where your content is constantly changing, because then you're not having to worry about people finding things that aren't there anymore or don't exist anymore. So this is a great tip, and I've actually used it on tons of Pinterest profiles that we take care of. So the other question I had was, people were asking about, I think I had 4 or 5 people who messaged me and said, if we're going to talk about Pinterest, can we talk about Pinterest ads? Is it worth it? Do you get exposure? It's the same kind of thought process in terms of ads as I say for Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. You want to, if you've never done it, play around with it a little bit and see if you're getting any kind of click-throughs or traffic or any kind of engagement on what you're advertising. So for this, you have to have a Pinterest business profile. You can't just be a regular person. But they have 2 different options, and according to their blog, they're looking to expand in the next few months to give more options in terms of different things to do. But I really like what they have because it's simple and it's easy. And it's the same kind of thought process as creating a Facebook ad, which we've already talked about in a previous webinar. So you're just going to, what I like to always do is make sure that you're driving traffic to whatever it is that you want accomplished. So if you've got your website and you want attention drawn to your listings or your service offerings or what have you, you create a new campaign. Clicks to website is always a good one. You name it, you select the dates, you select the budget. Again, it's a daily budget, so it's different from Facebook where you can select a lifetime budget or a daily budget. This is only a daily budget. So I recommend, if you're going to do a test run of a couple different pins and see which one performs better, maybe do $5 a day for a few days and see how they perform. What I'm learning and understanding is that Pinterest ads perform better on the weekends. Obviously, that's when we have more time to sit there and scroll through. So you'll notice in your feed, if you're on Pinterest, there's a lot of brands that are taking advantage of advertising, and they're having a lot of success. So if you have something to sell or something to offer, you definitely want to take advantage of it. If you have already pinned a bunch of really cool stuff, so for example, you'll see we've got a smattering of pins that we've pinned that go directly to SCV Leasing's website, or pins that we've pinned that go to other things, blogs or articles or things like that. We've got some of our listings up here that I think have already rented because they're super fast. So you can select any of the pins that you've pinned that go specifically to different boards. And what you have is you've got different options to select. If you've already got a pin that's performing really well and you're getting a lot of click-throughs, maybe you just increase that by giving it a little bit of boost with advertising. So you want to make sure that your pin pictures are, like I said before, they're clear and they're concise and they look really good. So you would just select a pin, whichever one you want. So if I wanted to do drive traffic, for example, to the property evaluation tool that they have on any of Mike's websites, you could do one like that and then add traffic, add $5 a day to that budget. And if you're doing it from Friday to Monday, $5 a day, that's the potential of $20 spent. So $20, not that big a deal in terms of ad budget spending. If you get really successful with it and you're seeing it's working really well, then you can go up and spend a little bit more. Maybe you do $10 a day or $20 a day, depending on what your budget is. This is a great way to draw attention to what you're doing, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. When you finally select your pin, what the last couple steps are basically the same as when you put together any other type of ad. But you want to give your pin a name, so you would want to name it. I like to use a different type of naming convention, so I would maybe say, SCV Leasing, Property Management, Engagement, and give it a date so I can track what it is I'm doing. You've got your destination URL, so this in here is something that I posted via Buffer, so that would be there. but it goes straight to the available rentals. And then you've got the interests, and this is great because to me it's a little bit easier to use than Facebook's interest section, even though they keep trying to improve it. But you can select all kinds of different interests in here, as well as utilize your keywords. So we've talked about in one of the previous trainings about Google AdWords, and we talked about keywords. So if you've done that keyword research, you can actually import your keywords into this ad profile and keep it there. If you are just playing around with keywords still and you've not yet done the keyword research and you're not yet comfortable with it, you can type in your own keywords and select keywords based on your location, based on what it is, based on what you're looking to accomplish. So if you have specific keywords, so like Los Angeles real estate, homes for rent, Santa Clarita property management, whatever it is that you're doing, I definitely recommend trying to dial it down as much as you possibly can. And then the rest of it is very similar to Facebook setup, so you can tell they probably drew some inspiration. You can pick specific locations. You can say what your city is. So if you're in Portland, Oregon, you can put in Portland, and then from there it's just clicking through to approve it and make sure that everything. You do a little preview, and then you're all set. I have actually tested a few of these, and it gets good. It actually gets pretty good exposure. It depends on what it is you're doing, so I definitely recommend being thoughtful before you add money to just any old pin, and think about what it is you want to accomplish. So if you're looking to drive traffic to your landing page, you want to get those emails in your sales funnel, you want some leads around a specific property, or you've got this property that just won't sell, and we all know what happens. You could do some advertising around that and get some traction. Maybe you get some contact information for some potential buyers, things of that nature. The sky is the limit in terms of what you can do with Pinterest now that they've opened it up to businesses, and it's so awesome. And they have great analytics too, so you can actually take a look at those. Don't forget to connect your social profiles. You can connect your Facebook, you can connect your Twitter, you can connect your Google+, you can connect your Gmail account, so you can easily find people that are in your Gmail or your Yahoo or your Microsoft. And what this is good for is if you're looking to continue with relationship building with past clients or past leads or people that you've engaged with that you have their emails in your contact book or what have you. This is great because you can reach out to them, and as an agent or as a small business owner or as someone you've connected with before who may have been looking for your services, you can connect with them on Pinterest, and then they can see that you're engaged on Pinterest, and maybe they didn't buy a house with you, or maybe they didn't sell their house yet, and they're seeing how active you are on Pinterest and the kinds of things you have to offer. And just the smallest impression can make such a big difference. And I know that when I've connected with people who I've engaged with in the past that didn't necessarily use us for their social media or their website, or they're still thinking about it, we know that there's people that are constantly sitting on the fence about everything, decision making. I know that it started and sparked a conversation with at least a handful of people who ended up, either getting one-on-one consulting or used us for other things. So it never, ever, ever hurts to try and connect with past contacts to continue in that relationship building, to make sure that they know that you still exist. And the last thing, discover widgets. Now this is one of my favorite things. We do a lot of blogging on the SCB Leasing page for tips and tricks and ideas for tenants and property owners and investors. And if you have created a specific board, and this is just a screen grab from Pinterest's website, so I do not have a Pindiana Jones board anywhere, and that's not who I am. But you can create a bunch of different widgets that you can incorporate in your website or your blog. And the ones that I love the most, if you have a blog or a lot of people are using Tumblr in real estate now. If you have a blog where you're sharing, let's say you're talking about, you know, the top 10 tips for staging your home, and you want to drive traffic to your Pinterest board, you want to engage the people that are already reading your blog, you can add these pins or a whole board to a blog post, and it's so cool because it shows up just like this in this preview here. You can decide if it's square, you can decide if it's long or what it looks like. You can even create a widget for your profile and stick that in your website or on your blog someplace. Most of the website builders that you can use, WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, most of these support this kind of stuff, and it's super easy because you'll just see down here, it's just copy and paste the code. That's all you have to do, is just copy that and stick it in your blog or on one of your widgets on your website, depending on if you have Wix or WordPress or Squarespace. And then you've got this recommendation that's going to drive traffic to your board. And I just think that this is one of the coolest things that you can do. If you don't have a pin it button on your website, or you don't have something on there, I would definitely talk to whoever put your website together and see if they have the ability to do that. One of the things that I love about having social buttons or widgets or anything on a website or a blog is it gives people the opportunity to share your content or to find your content or to invite other people to see what it is you're posting. So if you have a great listing, and we see this all the time on Facebook, if you have a great listing and you promote it wherever you're promoting it, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, most of the time you've got these people who are genuinely your raving fans. If they see that if they have the ability to share what it is that they think is really cool with their friends and family, they will. And I love when I see people commenting on things on Pinterest and they're tagging other people in it and saying, hey, did you see this? Hey, this is really cool. Those types of things are really great, and that's really amazing engagement. And it's the best way to build brand awareness. And that's what you are as a brand, whether you're a realtor or whether you're the owner of a local restaurant, whether you're a social media consultant, you are your brand. And Pinterest is a fantastic way to engage with people. So I definitely encourage you to take a look at all the different tools and things that they have that you can share, that you can use to share your content and make people aware that you are doing amazing things with your stuff.
How fun.
Now go pin your hearts out.
You make me crazy because now I want to go to Pinterest and pin things. And I started this out this morning like, I don't want to pin nothing. I just want people to pin for me. But now I'm like, oh, wow, this is kind of cool. And if I can get in front of 80% of women, heck yeah, I'm all over that. They're the decision makers. Bring it on. So should I be pinning listings as an agent from our YouTube channel, our website, or where's the best way to pin those from?
Well, if you're putting the link to the listing in your YouTube description, you can definitely post those videos. If you have videos, people love to play videos, and they're working on the different ways that they can actually integrate autoplay into Pinterest. So we're starting to see that happen a lot more. It's available to certain brands. So once that reaches everybody, I think it'll be awesome. But I think if you're putting in all the description and information in your YouTube description with a link to where they can find out more, they can fill out a form or an email or a phone number, you can definitely pin those YouTube videos. That's amazing. Video does really well on Pinterest. But if maybe you're not at the point where you have a video for your listing, you can definitely post or pin your listing directly to a Pinterest board. And then what I like to do is I like to recommend that people, cultivate it and make sure that you've got your, current listings and your sold properties, because that in and of itself keeps your SEO in terms of your searchability with Pinterest and Google. As long as you keep those somewhere in the universe, people are going to be able to find them and pay attention to it.
Hmm. So I probably look bad with boards that are outdated. I better go check all that out. All right. So the question I have is: can we or do we overpin? Do we do the Mike's Rule of Four on Pinterest? Do we be more specific, uh, mixing it up with houses? Is there any no nos like don't be a spammer this way or don't do anything? Is there anything that you've seen real estate agents do that just drive you insane?
Oh, well, I think I've seen that drives me insane is when you've got like I think 5 or 6 listings in a row, or it's just like nothing but listings, and then you go to their Pinterest profile and all you see is the 2 boards are like my listings and my sold listings, and they've done nothing else. I think that drives me nuts because you can tell that that person isn't investing in relationship building,
Okay.
so they're not going to accomplish anything more than, drive traffic to their listings. So make sure it's a healthy mix of, I have on our Pinterest profile, I have, my favorite drink recipes
Right.
and healthy lunch ideas. You can do all kinds of stuff besides just posting your business stuff. So just listings. So make sure that it's a good mix. I know that somebody asked me a question the other day because they have a friend of theirs who is a business person and posts these really funny quotes and stuff, and some of them are a little inappropriate, like not safe for work type of content.
Uh,
And she sent me a screenshot and was like, "Should I be doing this too? Because people are repinning this like crazy." It's like make sure that it goes with your brand as an individual.
right.
So
It's like
if
the Anne
that's
Marie brand compared to the Mike brand.
right. You guys are two totally different, awesome people. And, if it goes with who your personality and people are like, oh, that's so, because people are like, oh, that's Anne Marie. She's so funny. And, that totally goes with who she is and what she does. And she's amazing. So if it works for who you are, yes. But if it's like you're thinking in your mind, I'm not sure I should be doing this, but that looks really cool because people are repinning it and I want to get repinned. If you have any hesitation, like with any other social media channel, then I would just say don't do it.
Right.
If your gut's questioning it, then I would definitely stay away from it.
Very cool. All right. I don't think there's any too many questions that I haven't already answered. All right. So scale of 1 to 10, importance to a real estate agent, or maybe you can put this somewhat order for us in our minds. Would it be Facebook first, then Pinterest, then Instagram? Where do you put this in the top 10 social media platforms?
Yeah, so it's funny because I just had this conversation I did a one-on-one training with a Home Smart agent, and we talked about it. And I said, you really want to get comfortable with Facebook and Twitter being your top two. So always make sure that you're comfortable with Facebook and Twitter. And then if you're looking to add something, then add Instagram. Get comfortable with Instagram. And then, you can add in there, 4 or 5 can rotate, but I definitely think YouTube and Pinterest need to be in there. I am slowly moving Google Plus down my priority list for businesses because they keep changing it and it's driving me nuts. So, number 4, if it's Pinterest it looks more appealing to you in terms of, usability and what you can accomplish, then add YouTube after that. Or if YouTube, you're like way more amped about video, then, start to learn and understand YouTube. But so definitely Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then Pinterest and YouTube are kind of interchangeable for me in 4 and 5 in terms of real estate agents, because I think they all go together, but you definitely want to make sure that you're in your comfort zone when you're starting to put those channels into your routine.
Gotcha. Somebody just asked me, do you recommend to follow and like other boards? And I think the answer is kind of obvious because we want to create and maintain relationships. But what I've done is if you look at my Pinterest, I have um, followed way too many people. And now I'm following things that are of no interest to me, kind of like I did on Twitter. If you look at my Twitter, I'm down to 3 followers right now. I'm going to start from scratch. But
I
this,
know, I'm so excited.
but this Pinterest thing, and I don't even know how to get back to me. Okay, so I'm following 310 people. So I'm going to go back delete all these people if they're not interesting to me, and I'm going to try to make Pinterest fun again. Unless they're past clients, potential clients, that kind of stuff. Is that
Mhm.
what we recommend to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of us initially, when social media started to become big, and I was guilty of it too, we jump on and we just start following everybody because you want people to follow you back. And, I think, we've said it a bunch of times in the past trainings is it's definitely quality over quantity. So make sure that, yes, you're following other boards that are interesting, and add value to what you're trying to accomplish. But be thoughtful about it so that if it's something that's not interesting to you and you start seeing crazy stuff in your feed and you're like, where did that come from? Take a look at where it's coming from and unfollow that board. The thing about it is you can actually follow specific boards and not have to follow an entire person or profile or brand. So if there's something that's just interesting to you about one specific board, then you can follow that. And I think it's just always be thoughtful about what you're doing, because even if you have even if you're following 1,000 people, that doesn't mean that it's that what you're seeing in your feed anywhere, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, is quality and adds value to what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, let's see. Julie pointed out that on our HomeSmart awesome websites, we can add Pinterest widgets, and it helps keeps our sites unique and keeps our agents active. So, HomeSmart agents that are listening to this, go check that out. I think that's about it. I'm excited to get back into Pinterest. I tell you, one more thing on the list, but definitely beats the heck out of door knocking. So, what's next week?
Uh, Next week, let's see. I have my handy dandy Evernote list here of all the things I'm trying to accomplish.
Please,
And
YouTube.
what?
YouTube?
YouTube? Why are we talking about YouTube? Yes, it actually is YouTube
Oh,
next
yes.
week.
Okay, good. I have a bunch of questions for YouTube that we're going through this week.
Yeah, so we are
You're
going to
going
be
to blow
talking.
YouTube up. I got another listing from YouTube, and I'm like, you know what? This is too easy. Social media farming is way too easy. I want to blow up all of our platforms and just put my feet up, relax, and collect listings from posting. That's
Yeah, it's really great. So we'll talk about YouTube next week, and we'll have a lot of really cool tips and tricks and ideas and things that a lot of people ask me questions about what they're doing or what they're doing right or what they're doing wrong. So we'll cover all those next week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Deanna. Please, you guys, reach out to Deanna, ask her questions, and publicly thank her through her Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, all that good stuff. Help her grow her social media brand so she can help you grow your social media brand. You can get a hold of her at Deanna at starksocial.com, Twitter at starksocial, facebook.com/starksocial. Me, talk to me about HomeSmart, talk to me about coaching, talk to me about anything you need to. Reach out to me, Mike at homesmartncg.com. That's Mike at homesmartncg.com. And if you're writing anything down, I'll give you my personal cell phone, 661-212-8075. I'm always here to support the real estate community. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you next week. Take care.